This is Mac OS Ken.
Surprising blood oxygen readings from Apple, Apple Card as economic barometer, and your feedback on Apple and AI. It is Friday the 15th of August 2025. I'm Ken Ray, and this is news from Mac OS Ken, brought to you by yours truly and supported by people like you, patrons through Patreon. Find out more and add your support at patreon.com/MacOSCan. If you've got an Apple Watch Series 9, Series 10, or an Apple Watch Ultra 2, guess what? Out of nowhere, blood oxygen readings are available from your wearable. Apple issued a small press blurb on Thursday saying that a redesigned blood oxygen feature was waiting with new updates for the watch and iPhone. Folks wanting the functionality were encouraged to update their iPhone to iOS 18.6.1 and their Apple Watch to watchOS 11.6.1. Following this update, the company said sensor data from the blood oxygen app on Apple Watch will be measured and calculated on the paired iPhone, and results can be viewed in the respiratory section of the Health app. For people with watches that have had blood oxygen measurements all along, there will be no impact, according to Apple. iOS 18.6.1 doesn't seem to know whether you need it, though. I have an Apple Watch Series 7, which has had and continues to have blood oxygen readings. While the release notes direct people to Apple's Security Updates page for security info associated with the release, going there shows no security fixes for the iOS and watchOS updates. Plenty of other OS updates to go around, these in the form of public betas. A few pieces from Mac Rumors had Apple seeding the third betas of iOS, iPadOS, macOS, watchOS, and tvOS 26 to public testers on Thursday. If you're in the public testing program, you know what to do. If you're not and don't but wanna be and wanna, your journey begins at beta.apple.com. Mac Rumor says Apple made a major slip Wednesday, though I can't help wondering whether it intentionally tipped its hand. Accidental or otherwise, the piece says Cupertino's own included hardware identifiers in software code linking to numerous unannounced products. If you don't like spoilers, skip ahead a minute or two. The products are said to include a new HomePod Mini with an S-Series processor, a new Apple TV with an A17 Pro chip, a new version of the Apple Studio display, a new iPad Mini with an A19 Pro chip, a new low-cost iPad with an A18 chip, an Apple Vision Pro with an M5 processor, and details on the chip inside the 2025 Apple Watch. In addition to all that, a piece from Macworld says it spotted another apparent secret in still other code. According to the site, code it's seen shows Apple's been testing an unreleased MacBook Pro model with an M5 Pro chip and Apple's first 5G modem. You know what stinks? In that whole thing I did yesterday about the alleged $599 MacBook, I wondered whether Apple might give it a cellular modem. Something my special lady friend keeps saying Apple should do. Build a cellular modem into the Mac. Hadn't seen anything about that anywhere though, so I left it out. Seeing this Macworld piece and circling back to the $599 MacBook idea, this could be an interesting way for Apple and the big carriers to get closer together. Not that I want to see that personally. Seems potentially detrimental if you ask me. Could be good for Apple's business dealings though, setting up the same sort of symbiosis for the Mac that Apple has seen for iPhone and, to a lesser extent, other hardware. That said, that's all supposition. What Macworld says it's seen is signs Apple's testing a MacBook with a built-in modem. Headlines are no place for nuance. Yet a number of headlines pulled me so far down the rabbit hole on Thursday. Headlines like Apple Card lands third in J.D. Power's U.S. credit card satisfaction rankings, and Apple Card falls to third in customer satisfaction rankings after holding top spot for 4 years. Sounds bad. And to be clear, nobody wants to fall. But those headlines might lead you to think that Apple Card was first among all cards. It was not. Looking over the J.D. Power press release on customer satisfaction with credit cards in the U.S., Apple fell from first to third in one of the 6 or 7 categories tracked by the firm: customer satisfaction among co-branded credit cards with no annual fee, excluding airline cards. What about the part where it was tops 4 years running? Kinda. In a 2024 post, 9to5Mac pointed out that Apple's 4 years on top were actually split between 2 categories: Best Co-Branded Credit Card, No Annual Fee segment, excluding airline cards for 23 and 24, and Best Mid-Size Credit Card Issuer for 21 and 22. The real news in the J.D. Power press release, it seems to me, has to do with consumer sentiment. Volatility in everything from financial markets to the prices of consumer goods has started to influence the way credit card customers use their cards, according to the release. By the firm's reckoning, more than half, 53% of cardholders, are currently carrying revolving debt, and 56% are classified as financially unhealthy. While these percentages have risen and fallen during reporting waves of the 2025 study, the result is a bifurcation of credit card customer experience, with significantly higher levels of customer satisfaction among financially healthy customers than among those who are less financially resilient. And that could go a decent distance toward explaining the waning enthusiasm for Apple Card. According to a recent piece on the site badcredit.org, Apple Card is currently carrying some $20 billion in balances and 12 million credit card members, of whom about 34% are reported to have credit scores below 660. That puts the Apple Card portfolio solidly in the subprime and near-prime market. So people who aren't especially stable in their finances aren't especially happy with their credit cards, and Apple Card has a perhaps surprising number of people who aren't especially stable in their finances. Kind of hard to fit that into a headline, though. I get it. The problem is if you just read the headline, you assume there's something wrong with Apple Card, not something wrong with the economy, which there seems to be for a large number of people. Hey, as long as we're doing nuance, it is worth noting not much separates first place and third place in Apple's co-branded no annual fee category. The first place Hilton Honors American Express card has a score of 641 to second place Costco Anywhere Visa by Cities 629 to Apple Card's 624. Also worth noting, the top 3 cards in the co-branded category have not changed, and all of their scores dropped this year. Comparing numbers from last year's press release, Apple's score did drop 30 points, 654 to 624. Hilton Honors American Express card dropped 3 points, 644 to 641. And Costco Anywhere Visa by City dropped 5 points, 634 to 629. One more thing worth noting. No one is over the moon on any card. The average credit card customer satisfaction score this year was 611. That was actually up 1 point versus last year. The highest score in any of the 6 or 7 categories that I saw this year, though, was in the category Bank Rewards Credit Cards with an annual fee. The top score there was 683 out of a possible 1,000. I will tell you how Apple Card could win. Apple should lobby J.D. Power to add the category Rhymes with Schmapple Schmard. Probably come in second at least. If you happen to be in Shenzhen, China tomorrow, you might want to give Apple's Qianhai Yifeng City store a visit. If you do, you'll be among the first. Apple teased that store's grand opening in a press release this week. It'll throw open its doors for the first time tomorrow, Saturday, the 16th of August. And now, as had been promised, where in the AI race is Apple? I told you of a call I got recently from a friend who said Apple is too far behind in AI and Siri stinks now. I agreed on Siri, disagreed on AI, asked you what you thought, and now I worry that I accidentally put my thumb on the scale. Responses seem to agree with me, which is cool, but disagreement is fine, long as we're not disagreeable. We'll do Siri first, since there was only one thought on that. Fred says, I think Apple should retire the name Siri and bring back the name Sherlock. Kill two birds with one stone, so to speak. Everybody else seems to think slow and steady will win the AI race for Apple. Rob wrote to say, I don't think Apple is moving too slowly, although I do think they shot themselves in the foot by marketing AI features that they could not deliver. I don't understand the hyperbolic enthusiasm of Wall Street over AI. Would I trust AI to give me correct answers to questions or provide good search results? Not really, and I worry about the dystopian possible uses of AI. I look forward to Apple integrating AI where appropriate to their devices in a manner that assures privacy and security. Tony points out that Apple has the opportunity to observe the market dynamics and wait for a more stable environment. As it stands, Apple is in a prime position to deliver the best products through its own devices. He goes on to say, I have always appreciated how Apple makes decisions with careful, deliberate thought, remaining true to its core values. My trust in Apple is strong and rooted in a history that goes back to before the Mac was introduced. Until I see any compelling evidence that suggests a shift in their approach, I remain confident in their path forward. He also sent me another email telling me that I rock, proving that Tony rocks. Dave also says I rock, so do you, Dave. He seems to go with Apple's assertion that AI is found all throughout Apple's offerings. While artificial intelligence is a set of various technologies, Dave says the thing people think about when they think about AI is generative AI. That, in his estimation, has been massively overhyped. While it'll be good for tasks mundane and tedious, it'll be useless for anything where creativity, insight, or humor are sought. While most see generative AI getting better over time, Dave sees it getting better for a time, followed by a steady degradation. Basically, when companies go from trying to make AI to trying to make money from AI, LLM performance will be as bad as Google searches have become. What has made Apple successful, in Dave's opinion, is as much things it has not done as things it has done. People wanted Blu-ray drives and Macs. They expected a car from Apple, a full-on television. I trust Apple to decide what moves to make more than the pundit class, says Dave, adding, it's interesting to see how Apple has put neural engines on its chips, yet the pundits think Apple is unaware that AI exists. Considering all this, I expect Apple to make AI easy to use and actually helpful. And finally, Gil wrote in to say, fast innovation is great, but the best, solid, high-quality innovation almost always comes from folks who watch how a new thing hits the market, learn from its mistakes and successes, and take time to develop it better. Apple knows this most of the time, he says. With something as big as AI, they have to take their time and ensure user privacy. If they nail this, it'll define what AI is for most humans on the planet for decades to come. I'm totally okay with waiting a bit longer for a product that integrates with my life and data seamlessly, protects my privacy, and doesn't feel creepy like a lot of AI does today. Gil did not tell me I rock, though he did thank me for all I do, which feels weirder. Anyway, thank you, Gil, for all that you do, I guess. And you rock. Even if I don't. This week on the checklist, brought to you by Secure Mac, Week 3 of the St. Paul cyber attack. There's a known culprit now and an operation underway to secure the city's information infrastructure. All of that plus mitigation tips we can all use on checklist number 436. Find it today at securemac.com/checklist or wherever you get podcasts. macOS Ken, brought to you by me and supported by people like you, patrons through Patreon. Find out more and add your support at patreon.com/macOSCan. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media, online at backbeatmedia.com. You can find me on Mastodon, macOSCan at mastodon.social. You can also send me an email, info@macosken.com. Until next time, that is news from macOS Ken. I'm Ken Ray.
Ciao.